Human beings can alter the course of their life. Human beings can live one way for 5 years, tear up that script, live a totally different way the next 5 years. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Second 6 years, I wound up rich. Someone says, don't you have to do the second 6 years like you did the first 6 years? And jot this down. No. No, you don't have to live the second 6 years like the first 6. You can use all the information and all the advice and repairing all of your mistakes and adopting a new and refined philosophy so that the next 6 years can be totally different than the last 6. All of these major questions, what about my life and my value and my place and my future? And what about life? What about origin? What about destiny? What about opportunity? What about possibility? All of these major questions, to let them go casually by is to miss the treasures that your life could accumulate into in the coming months, the coming years. So this is called major. What we ponder and what we think about sets the course of our life. It's like the set of the sail that's taking us somewhere. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. If you will not neglect to do the small daily discipline, that's where self-confidence comes from. Part of good health is self-confidence. I know I'm going to be healthy. I eat the apple a day. I walk around the block. I do the jogging on the beach. At the end of the day, when you've really poured it on and you've done all the stuff, self-confidence grows. That self-confidence affects your health. It affects your future. It affects your psyche. Self-confidence means willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. Whenever you prepare correctly, taking all of the steps you're supposed to take, doing everything in your power to stay on track, whenever your preparations lead to success, achieving your goals, you reinforce the disciplines that got you there. Success leads to reinforcement of the proper discipline. If what you're doing is working, keep doing it. If what you're doing isn't working, change it. If I grow, think of what that will do for my future. Self-development earns success. Self-investment earns respect. And the only way to make a better and better and better investment in your future is to become better and stronger and wiser and more competent. And the more attractive you become, the more attractive you are. And the more attractive you are, the more you attract success. Self-development, self-investment attracts success. That's powerful. Personal success is built on the foundation of character, and character is the result of hundreds and hundreds of choices you may make that gradually turn who you are at any given moment into who you want to be. If that decision-making process is not present, you'll still be somebody. You'll still be alive. But you may have a personality rather than a character. And to me, that's something very different. Character isn't something you were born with and can't change, like your fingerprints. It's something you weren't born with, and that you must take responsibility for forming. There used to be a joke about football teams that lost every game. The coach would say, "We built a lot of character this year, didn't we?" As if character is something that you settle for when you haven't achieved what you really wanted or automatically develops as a result of adversity. I don't buy that. I don't think adversity by itself builds character, and I certainly don't think that success erodes it. You build character by how you respond to what happens in your life, whether it's winning every game or losing every game or getting rich or dealing with hard times. You build character from certain qualities that you must create and diligently nurture within yourself, just like you would plant and water a seed or gather wood to build a campfire. You've got to look for those things in your heart and in your gut. You've got to chisel away in order to find them, just like chiseling away rock to create the sculpture that has previously existed only in the imagination. But the really amazing thing about character is that if you're sincerely committed to making yourself into the person you want to be, you'll not only create those qualities, you'll strengthen them and recreate them in abundance, even as you're drawing on them every day of your life. That's why building your character is vital, becoming all that you can be. When you are a person of character, you know who you are and where you want to go. You've already spent a great deal of time thinking about it. You've been working on the parts of your personality that will make you better. Your attitude, your health, your time management skills. You've been putting it all down on paper, and you've developed positive self-direction. As you talk with yourself every day, how often do you ask, is what I am doing today getting me closer to where I want to be tomorrow? Because here's what you don't want to ever do. Kid yourself. Kid your neighbor, and kid me in Kid Marketplace if you want to, but don't kid yourself. You can't wait around with your fingers crossed hoping you'll arrive at a good destination when you're not even headed in the right direction. You say, well, maybe the wind will take me. There's a chance, of course, but it's about as likely as winning the lottery. You've got to take charge. Ancient scripture says that hope, if it's delayed long enough, can make the heart sick. You've got to ask yourself often, am I performing the disciplines that are taking me in the direction that I want to go? I don't want to delude myself and think I'm on the way to financial success when there's not a prayer. I don't want to delude myself into thinking there's someone else who will take care of it. Nobody else is going to take care of it. Nobody else is going to take care of me. What if all of your negative thinking relatives turned positive? What would that do for your fortune and your future? Not much. If prices came down a little, what would that do for your sophistication and your culture? Not much. If the economy gets a little better, what would that do for you? Not much. If you don't make plans of your own, you'll fit into someone else's plans. And what do you think they have planned for you? Not much. Most people wake up every morning counting on this not much list. And that's all they have. Not much. Not much hope. Not much promise. Not much progress. They're driving what they don't want to drive, living what they don't want to live, doing what they don't want to do. Forget the thief waiting in the alley to snatch your purse. What about the thief in your mind? He is tempting you to become lazy, not stimulated by thoughts and questions. Don't become a victim of yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Is this the direction that I want for my life? Is it someone else's direction? Is it a goal that has been ingrained in me since my childhood? Is it my parents'? My spouse's, my boss, or my children's? Is it mine? Ask yourself these questions. Get into the debate of your inner mind. What am I doing that works? What am I doing that doesn't work? Debate it all. Work with your mind to figure out the best possible direction for you. This is your self-direction. There are two parts to positive self-direction. Part one is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is knowing who you are and what you want to do with your life. It is knowing how you feel about yourself. Self-knowledge has a lot to do with your philosophy, and your philosophy has a lot to do with shaping your attitude. It helps determine how you feel about yourself, about life, about your direction, and about others around you. You've got to gather up enough knowledge and information to know what's right for you. How do you gather up this information? Well, you can start with your own experiences. The best way to know if something works for you, to find the right way, is to do it the wrong way. You can't keep doing it the wrong way. You've got to be smart enough to say, hey, this isn't working, and change it. Start doing it the right way. Then search for the knowledge and apply what's right for you to your life. Develop your own attitudes and philosophies around your own experiences and the experiences of others. Take all of the information you have gathered and compile it. Consider it, debate it, tear it apart, turn it upside down. Look at it from your own perspective and refine it to suit you. Rearrange it. Throw some of it out. Keep what you think will work for you. And most importantly, make sure that what you end up doing is the product of your own conclusion. Make sure that the knowledge that you are building is your own self-knowledge. The second component of positive self-direction is preparation. Being ready for the opportunities when they show up in your life. Being ready for the sales call that may make you a fortune. Being ready for the meeting that may positively affect your career. Being ready for it all, in expectation. It will come. If you wish to be ruler over many, you've got to be faithful with few. If you wish to have power and influence over many, be the leader of many, and get the return from many. Be faithful and disciplined when there's just a few. And do it in your own enlightened self-interest, because that gives you the best chance to have power, influence, and a place of honor among the many. Be faithful when there's just a few. Someone says, if I had a big organization, I'd really be on top of things. But I've just got a few employees, and I don't know where they are. Come on. When you've just got a few employees, you should know where all of them are. Let's say we were interviewing the parents of a fairly large family whose children have all grown up and gone. What if we said to them, what happened to all of your children? And they answered, I don't know. They just all wandered off. We'd ask, where did they all go? If they say, who knows? They're just all gone. We're just going to have some more. That's clearly not an acceptable attitude. If you've got a few employees, if you've got a few distributors, if you've got a few people you deal with, that's the time to sharpen your communication skills. Of being in touch, getting prepared, giving the most of your heart and soul. In your own enlightened self-interest. Give it your all when there's a few. Be totally absorbed when there's just a few. Improve your reputation and skills, so when a leadership position opens up, you'll be called. The same thing goes with your money. Someone says, oh, if I had a fortune, I'd really take good care of it. But I've only got a small paycheck, and I don't know where it goes. Nobody would ever respond to the person who says, I don't know where it all goes, with, oh, we'd love to have you run our company, or you don't know where it all goes. Wow. You should be in charge of the world. Come on. Positive self-direction means paying very close attention to every dollar you have, really keeping track of where they come from and where they go. Create the discipline when the amount is small, and you'll be on your way to handling your money when the amount is large. Be ready for tomorrow by doing all that you can today. That's positive self-direction. In many ways, you are already a tremendous success. And it's important to take the time to appreciate what you've accomplished on the path to becoming all you can be. So I'd like you to take a self-appreciation inventory. Ask yourself a few questions. Start with, what have I achieved in the last 4 days, the last 2 weeks, the last 6 months, the last year, the last 10 years? What have I achieved during these time periods? Write the answers down. Take a self-appreciation inventory of all you've done and all you've accomplished and all you've become. Take inventory of yourself, then compare this list to your goals. Have you accomplished all you set out to do in the last 4 days, 2 weeks, 6 months, 1 year, and 10 years? Compare your lists. Maybe you've been so busy trying to reach your goals that you haven't taken the time to sit back and reflect on what you've achieved already. Look back at your list and say, wow, I really have been through a lot. I really have learned a lot. Look what I've done. Look what I've become. I wasn't like this 10 years ago or even 1 year ago. Look at me. I'm doing okay. Building personal success takes little steps. You need to focus on one step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. It's like taking your family to a reunion where people haven't seen your kids for a year. They say, look how you've grown. You know your kids have grown, but when you see them every day, it's hard to notice. So write down all your accomplishments and see where you've been and what you've done and who you've become. You'll say, look how I've grown. Here's the next question in your self-appreciation inventory. What could I have achieved that I didn't? Be honest now. This is your own inventory. Nobody else has to see it. What could you have achieved over the last week, the last month, the last quarter, the last year? What could you have achieved that you didn't? Would a game plan have made a difference? Would a different direction have made a difference? Would greater preparation have made a difference? Would more discipline have made a difference? Would time management have made a difference? Ask yourself, what could I have achieved that I didn't? Now take this one step further with the question, what do I want to achieve in the next 4 days, the next 2 weeks, the next months, the next year, the next 10 years? This all falls in line with your goals. What you could achieve has to fall in line with what you want to achieve. And through the proper disciplines, practiced every day, the what could I do will naturally match up with what do I want to do. Here's another question. What can I do to achieve my goals that I'm not doing now? What things do you need to work on that you're not working on now? Remember, it's easy to do the little things every day. It's also easy not to do them. Are you appreciative of the progress you've made so far? It's important that you take time out to acknowledge yourself and your achievements. Consider where you've been and who you've become. Self-appreciation is a stage in personal evolution that demonstrates maturity and resolve. It comes from already being firmly set on the course of positive self-direction. You know you're on the right track and you have a wonderful blend of humility and self-esteem. You know that you're accomplishing your goals. And you know yourself enough and are confident enough to avoid needless bragging. Self-appreciation also says that you admit there's room for improvement. You know that you're on the right track, but you admit the need for continued growth. You seek out more books, more seminars, more skills, more disciplines, a greater awareness, and a bigger vision. There's always more room to grow. There's always more knowledge to gain, more skills to perfect. We're never done with the education process, because education is part of the path to wealth. Education is part of the path to health. Continued education can turn you around if you're headed in the wrong direction. We must never stop learning, growing, and expanding. And we must never forget to take the time to appreciate ourselves for what we have done in pursuit of what we want to become.